Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek. I know I usually play the trailer here, but I've just got to announce something. Not really announce something. You know, I said the other day I wasn't going to do Twitch again. I've decided against it. I'm going to do Twitch again, but now it's giving me something. I don't think it's working. For some reason, it's not broadcasting on Twitch. I got a weird message just as I pressed thingamabob. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, see if that works. No. Oh, that's peculiar. It says the title is invalid. Right. Okay, just bear with me just while I sort this out. just bear with me. I'll get rid of it. We won't do Twitch tonight. Bugger Twitch. Right, so we're off. Right, yes, Twitch. Twitch isn't working tonight. Never mind. Right. Back to the trailer. Be back in this flat.
The night of the 4th is finally here for Chris, Cindy, and JC. It's going to be the best night of their lives. But tonight is also the night of the creeps. From a world unknown comes a nightmare unimagined. First, they are under you, around you, on you, and then inside you.
They get in through your mouth, and you walk around while they incubate, even if you're dead.
They are a new breed of terror.
Freeze!
They are a different kind of horror.
Zombies, exploding heads, creepy crawlies. We could have a little problem.
The creeps are taking over.
I got good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
You have never had a night like this. Night of the creeps. If you scream, you're dead.
Right, I'm back. Hello, Wingrace. Yes, Twitch. Twitch isn't working. I don't know why. I suspect it might be my fault. I think I might have pressed something wrong when I clicked on go live. Because a message popped up and I got rid of it straight away before I could see what it was. So I'm guessing it was to do with Twitch. But anyway, maybe Twitch heard me bad-mouthing it the other day. But anyway, whatever. Anyway, right, so where were we? Tonight's film, Friday Night Appointment with Fear, is, let me get rid of that, Night of the Creeps from 1986. Fred Dekker's debut film. I think he'd done a short film before this, which included the same two characters. I think they were different actors, but the same two characters that are the lead characters in this film. JC and somebody else. I forgot his name. Is it Chris? Could be. I don't know. Let me see. Characters. Where are you? Characters. Yes, Chris. What else? I don't know the budget of the film. It didn't do super well at the box office, but it's become a cult classic. I remember seeing it donkeys years ago, and I can't remember if I liked it or not. I don't think I was over keen, to be honest, but I bought it on Blu-ray. Oh, where is it? I bought the Blu-ray just on the off chance that I might have changed my mind about it, because I do that. And I watched it today twice, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. So I'm looking forward to this. Anyway, so let's just get on with the film, shall we? Hang on, where are we? There we go. By the way, the biggest star in the film is Tom Atkins, and that's about it. Everybody else is, pretty cookie cutter type characters, I suppose. I suppose the main actor, that fella in there, Jason Lively, I think his biggest claim to fame is the brother of Blake Lively, the wife of Ryan Reynolds. But anyway. What else can we say about it? As I said, it's the debut film of Fred Dekker, who a year later would bring us the Monster Squad. which is fine. You know, people love the Monster Squad, but I'm not one of those people. I think it's okay. And it would also obviously go on to do RoboCop 3 and become a producer on Star Trek Enterprise. So that's it. That's a weird side thing he did. Anyway, so let's get on with the film. Right. Anything else to say? Oh, yes. Don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. As I said, we're also live on Rumble. So let me make sure that is still going. Yes, it is. We are live on Rumble, but not Twitch. And we are live on YouTube. We are. Why is Windgrace saying, hey, welcome for the first time? I've no idea. I think he's gone bonkers. But never mind. What else? I've also got a Patreon page, so let's get my banner up on my Patreon. There we go. Shout out to my Patreons, my one and only Patreon, Archmage Frey, who won't be joining us on Twitch this week. The mysterious man from Twitch won't be because Twitch isn't working for me for some reason. Hopefully, it'll be back to normal at the next live stream. I hope. Anyway, right. So. All right, and I'll be uploading it to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Google Podcasts later on. Right, and blah blah blah, all the usual stuff. Right, let's get on with the film. Obviously, I'm not just going to play the film because that get me into trouble with YouTube. Some people don't seem to understand that. Don't know why, but never mind. We're just talking about it as we go. I've actually got notes this time in the form of a text file. I'm pressing the wrong bloody button again. Good job I wasn't sharing that screen. Me and my bloody ham-fisted mouse clicking. I've just turned on OBS, Streamlabs. Go away. Good job I wasn't sharing that screen. Yes, I've got some notes. By the way, the catchphrase for this film, there were several catchphrases in this film, like taglines. It was like, if you scream, you're dead or whatever, I don't know. And your dates have arrived. Good news, your dates have arrived. The bad news is they're dead. And obviously, the catchphrase for Tom Atkins' character is "thrill me," which is said. I hope I counted it right. I was counting them as I watched the film 6 times. Said 6 times. 5 times by Tom Atkins and 1 time by somebody else. All the characters, as far as I can tell, their surnames are other horror directors. We've got Dante, De Palma, Romero, Cronenberg, Miner, Corman. And well, he's a horror director, is mostly known as a producer, isn't he? Carpenter, Raimi, Wallace, Teague, Landis, Cunningham, Cameron, Hooper, and Gordon, which I thought was Stuart Gordon. There's a cat in it called Gordon. And I thought, that must be named after Stuart Gordon, the Reanimator, etc. director. But apparently, in the director's commentary, the cat's actually named after Gordon Carroll, a producer who produced. I can't remember now. He was one of the co-founders of. I forgot. Never mind. A big production company. My brain's gone. Never mind. I didn't write that in my notes, but anyway. Right. So let's get on with the film, shall we? Me waffling on. Let's get on with it. Right. So I'll make myself titchy tiny. There I go. And on the film comes. Right. So off we go. So see if it's playing. Is it coming on? There we go. The good old TriStar logo. Yeah, it goes with the Pegasus, and off we go. A cool, ish opening titles. Remember, this is from 1986, so it's like animated. I imagine, what's it? The I forgot the name. Is it the Duffer Brothers? Stranger Things. I imagine they got inspiration from this. But the fellow that did these titles would go on to do Terminator 2 and something else. So that's similar sort of vibe, isn't it? There we go. Night of the Creeps. Right, so we begin. We're in space and we're on a spaceship. By the way, a lot of this film were filmed on location in California at I think is it USC? I don't know these terms. Filmed on location there. And the sets, the ones that they were built sets for like this, they actually rented out an old Woolworths store and built lots of sets in there. So this is in an old Woolworths in Los Angeles, apparently. Anyway, right, so we're on a spaceship and there's aliens aboard. I'm going to see them. Here we are, little naked aliens for some reason. But apparently they are little people in costumes. Anyway, one of them's holding some sort of canister and others are chasing him with guns and speaking to each other in an alien tongue. It's not it's subtitled there, but in alien. When you watch the Blu-ray, it tells you what they're saying in English. But anyway, and they say stop him before he ejects the canister, the experimental canister or something like that. And we see that the one that's holding the canister has got white eyes. So we see that he's being got by the creeps, which are these little slug-like creatures that it seems were an alien experiment. But anyway, off it goes, spinning through space, and then we pan down. Hang on. Pan down. There we go. Sorority Road, 1959. This is where we begin. The film doesn't take place in 1959, don't worry. And we're in black and white. This is where we meet a couple of us characters. It's black and white with lovely, colourful credits over the black and white images. Obviously done in the style of a 50s B movie. It's unapologetically an 80s B movie. Anyway, but a really well made one. So here we meet this chap. I have no idea what he's called. Can't remember. It probably tells us, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But he's meeting his date, and out she comes. Well, not yet. No, she doesn't yet. We see this room with these college girls in their dorm or whatever they're called. I don't know. We'll see this room again later in the 80s. But here he is. He's throwing stones up at the window, and this is I think she's called Pam. So let me double check the bloody names of the bloody characters. I think it's Pam. Where does it? Don't bloody say it. Yes, there we go. Pam, played by Alice Cadogan. I think he's called Johnny. This fella, the fella that's throwing stones. Which 50s song is playing? Oh, I think it could be "Smoke Gets in Your Eyes." Hang on, shall we see? Shall we see? I'll unmute it and we'll just have a listen. I could be wrong. Let's have a listen, eh? Oh, we can't hear anything. There was a song playing. But we do hear Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and some others. Anyway, so they're out in the car and they're at some lookout point, and she says, "What's the brightest star?" Oh, by the way, over the radio, we'd heard that a lunatic has escaped from the local asylum. There we go. Written and directed by Fred Dekker. A lunatic had escaped from a local asylum, so an axe-wielding one, and he'd murdered several orderlies and escaped. I think we learned that her ex-boyfriend is a cop who's called Ray, but she's now with Johnny. But that's Ray. He's there. He tells them, what's the brightest star? You are, babe. It tells you. He's such a smooth talker. He doesn't say that. I don't think he does. Anyway. It's obviously recognised as he's telling them, you shouldn't be here. He shines a torch at them, and says, you shouldn't be here. There's a lunatic on the loose. So he's telling everybody that's there. But anyway, so he says, Pam, and then he walks off. Anyway, so they carry on, and she says again, what's the brightest star? And then as we're watching this star here, I think it's this one, that one I'm pointing at there. Yes, it is. That one shoots overhead. Obviously, this is the alien canister with the creeps inside. It flies over, and actually, there's quite a decent. Is it going to show it? No, let's go back again. A nice little effect that I like that. It's obviously miniatures and stuff, I imagine, but I think it looks really good. Hello, Joshua. Welcome to the show. Oh, hang on, I've got a new thing. Hang on. When I say welcome to the show, I can now play this. There we go. Oh dear. Just thought I'd play that. Yeah, well, right. So anyway, so it crashes to Earth. So they go and investigate. Obviously, nobody else seems to want to investigate. Just Johnny and Pam. So off they go and heads out into the woods. Leaves Pam in the car by herself. So off he goes with his torch, and she starts. Then she's got the radio on. Hang on, what's Wingrace saying? I hope 40 people show up just for that. I'll probably get a bloody copyright strike now. Anyway, she is on the radio about the lunatic that's can you call them that these days? I don't know. They did then. The lunatic that's escaped from the asylum, the axe wielding maniac. Oh, done that again. There we go. So he's got to look out for him. And it says he's on his way to Corman University. So she shines a torch up at a sign, or puts the headlights, whatever. No, the headlights. Corman University, obviously named after Roger Corman, the famed director and producer, whom everybody seems to have got to start with, don't they? Including James Cameron, who's also got a name drop in this. Anyway, so she's worried, so she's calling out for Johnny. She doesn't go after him; she just sits there in the car. They say, "Johnny," but then I'll have to mute this again now, aren't I? Hey, there we go. Yeah, right. So there we go. This is the axe wielding maniac. We see he's got an axe. There it is, covered in blood. So she's gonna meet her demise. Hang on, Joshua says, I think lunatic is okay. Just don't say crazy. Dear. Anyway, he's found the canister. Yes, we did. Yes. Hang on. All right. Well, we learned of the meaning for the word lunatic on the Wi-Fi's last night. Yes, did a show about reptilians. The moon, wasn't it? But then also reptilians and David Icke and all that. I think it that one. Yeah, well, wasn't it? Yeah. Because they're storing souls on the moon. I think he's been watching Life Force, hasn't he? Which we've done on this show. Anyway, he finds the canister. There it is. And we watch it, and there's all stuff swishing about inside. They're the creeps. And obviously, it must be broken. One gets out, goes into him. There we go. Yeah, she's calling out for Johnny. But then this fella's behind with an axe. Don't know who he is. Somebody else. I think somebody else plays him later on in the film. But here we go. He's going to swing the axe at her. There we go. So then we cut to 1986. Oh, whatever. Does it say? Come on. Pledge Week. There we go. Pledge Week, 1986. Right. So we're in colour now. Yay! We're in colour. As I said, this was filmed at the actual. I don't know what they call them. I'm not American, so I don't know what you call these places. Where they have all the sorority houses and whatever. I don't know what we don't have that sort of thing over here. But we're actually filmed, there in USC. And one of the main house, not this one here, but the main house that's for the girls' sorority or whatever it's called. We're actually in a state of disrepair, and they had to fix it up. And they fixed it up that well that the owners of it decided, I think they were going to pull it down and sell it or whatever, or build something else. They decided to keep it there. And apparently it's still there to this day, apparently. Right, we meet two main characters. This is Chris Romero, obviously named after that frat house, yes. Chris Romero, and I think he's JC James Carpenter. I think that's his name. Let me check. I don't say there on. I think it's JC James Carpenter. Where are we? Yes, James Carpenter Hooper. So they've got two in one character. Obviously, George Romero, John Carpenter, and Toby Hooper. Pardon me. You're right. Sorority houses for the ladies. That's it. What is it? Fraternities for the chaps. That's it. We don't really have that sort of thing over here. I don't think we do anyway. I never went to college, you see. I was going to go to college, but I decided to get a job instead. Anyway, right. I was going to do business studies. I wonder where they'd be now if I'd have actually gone and done business studies. Anyway, not doing this probably. Right, so we meet these two, and they're talking about we're never going to get laid and all that. And apparently, Chris, this chap, this is I forgot his name now. Lively. I forgot his bloody first name now. Jason Lively. This is him. As I said, brother of Blake Lively. I think it's a showbiz family, but I think Blake Lively is the most famous of that family. Yes, I'd be streaming Friday Night Finances. I forgot what we're talking about now. I've lost my train of thought. Oh yes, that's what I'm going to say. Yes, apparently, there's a character. He's supposed to have just split up with his girlfriend, who apparently were called Karen. And I think there were a whole part of the script about that, but then they decided not to bother. But it is mentioned that he's still moping about, his ex, but we never see her. And the Karen character becomes somebody else. Joshua says, I'd be unemployed in Greenland. All right, okay. Okie dokie. Right, where were we? So, he sees the love of his life across the street at one of the sorority. Shower. There she is, the one in the white top. That's oh god. Where is she? Cynthia Cronenberg. So there you got David Cronenberg there, played by Jill Whitlow. Well, I think we're in Porky's 2. And that's all I know her from. Well, I don't know her from that. That's all I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen Porky's 2, or have I? Yes, I have. Porky's 2 the next day, isn't it? Yes, I've seen Porky's 2. Don't remember her from it. Anyway, so he's obviously fallen in love with her, but he obviously won't go over because he's a wuss, like me. So JC's the one with the big mouth, so he calls over to her, calls her Toots and all that. Says, but she just giggles. And we see that JC's got crutches, but we never find out why he's on crutches, why he's disabled in some way. Obviously, can't use his legs. We don't know if he's had an accident or if he's always been like that. Don't know. Anyway. Oh, well, that quote from The Princess Bride. All right, well, never mind. That's why I don't know it. But as I said, we did it on the Monday morning, didn't we? Way back when. Well, a couple of months ago. Anyway, so there we go. There's his face palming himself because JC's just calling out to her. But anyway, so he decides that have a chance with Cynthia. He's got to sign up for one of the frat houses. So he goes to the Beaters. I'm not going to say Beaters. It's got an E in it, not an A. Beaters. And it's not betters either, because it'd have two consonants after if it were better. So it's not betas, it's beaters. I'm just telling you. Anyway, whatever. So they're gonna try and get into that frat house. There they are. He's still watching her, but he won't go over and talk to her. She's scared. Well, we find out she's talking to this chap who's got like a monobrow. Wingrace says, I hope they are master beaters. See, it doesn't work if you say it the British way. Anyway. We see her talking to like a jock with a monobrow, and JC goes over and says, oh, there's a phone call for you. And he's just gone over. He wants to talk to Cynthia and find out her name. So he does. He finds out her name. And the jock comes back and says, hey, they want a call for me. So he excuses himself, but she's not with him. He asks if she's got a boyfriend. My Greek is impeccable. It is. Doner kebab. It's about as much Greek as I know. I used to be able to recite the Greek alphabet, probably not the proper, pronunciation, but I used to be able to recite it, but I can't now. Anyway, I've forgotten it. Where were we? Yes, if she's got a boyfriend, and she doesn't really say. She kind of, I think she kind of nods non-committally or whatever. And we're assuming it's this chap, but it's not. We find out who her boyfriend is later on. Anyway, so he decides they're going to try and get into the fraternity. So there we go. So this is where we meet Brad. This is Brad, who's kind of an Albert Wesker prototype from Resident Evil, but he's a frat leader. And he's the head of this fraternity. I know it's got loads of Greek letters because they all have. I don't know why. Why do you do this? Don't know. But they've got to do a task to join. Hang on, Wingrace is talking again. I knew Greek alphabet and the radio alphabet. I don't know if I can do either fully now. What's the radio? You mean the Alpha Charlie, Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo, that radio alphabet? And I say I used to know the Greek alphabet, but I can't remember. I won't be able to do it backwards either, like young Indiana Jones. But that was the Greek numbers, wasn't it? He did, not the alphabet. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, kappa, lambda, mu, nu. I can't remember. I don't know. Omicron, phi. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, right. Where were we? Oh, hang on. Get rid of that. So they've got to do a task before they'll be allowed to join. And we learn that the task is they've got to find a corpse. Is this a common thing, in the fraternities? They've got to steal a corpse and dump it on another fraternity's, front lawn or whatever. Why would they ask them to do that? But they're not going to let them join anyway. It's just, just playing with them, basically. So off they go. And this is where we find out that his girlfriend is Cynthia. And as it fades to black, she carries on talking. Apparently, she had another line, but they edited that out. Right, so we cut to apparently they're on the campus medical wing or whatever. We meet this young scientist. Well, supposed to be a young scientist. I think he's supposed to be a grad student or something that's working there in this lab, and he's going to this keypad and he forgets the number. He starts typing it in and he can't remember the last number. So he's got like 4 digits in, and then he's got 1 digit left to enter, and he can't remember it. So he goes to the phone and he phones up his roommate and says, I can't remember my security code. It's in my notebook. So while he's doing that, Chris and JC sneak in, and they go to the lab and they see too far. They see the security thing and said just 1 digit to enter, and JC just presses 0 and the door opens. So he just happened to guess the right number. So they go in, they find a light switch, and here we find Johnny cryogenically frozen. There we go. Cryogenically frozen, and they're like, oh my god, what is that? And then they decide just to get him out because their task to join the whatever's betas is to steal a corpse. So they're going to steal this one because they think he's dead, even though they talk about cryogenically frozen. So, but anyway, and they get him out. He presses a button, his walking stick, and they get him out. I don't know how he's going to carry him. It's obviously Chris is going to have to do all the work because JC is on crutches, isn't he? He can't do anything. But there we go. They get him out, but he comes to, does Johnny, and grabs them. So they run out screaming. Well, he runs out, and the other Oscar Pistorius is out, and the young scientist goes in, sees Johnny on the floor, and then as we see, In a minute, there we go. Gets got by Johnny. Anyway, honestly, it sounds bad either way, just different bad. Yeah. So he's being got, but they've run back to their dorm room. They think they're safe now. Apparently, there's a dead goldfish in that bowl. Not that you can see it, but apparently he's dead. Because I think this is actually. Did they say in the commentary? Is this actually somebody's dorm room that they just changed slightly or whatever? I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, so they have a bit of an argument here about. JC's always saying is always doing things for Chris, and Chris is such a big wuss and all that. So they have a big row. But the best friends, so they make up and have a bit of a weird exchange, talking about f you, you'd want to and all that. Right, then we cut to a dream sequence. Spoilers, it's a dream sequence where we're introduced to Tom Atkins as Ray Cameron, Detective Ray Cameron, with his tiny feet. Is it me? Do his feet look tiny there? They do to me. But he's sitting on the beach, earning 20%, no doubt, drinking out of a coconut. And then as he's looking at the sea, and people are walking past, like in Jaws, when Chief Brody's looking out at the sea and people are walking past. They're doing cuts as people walk past, doing that. And he sees, hang on. He sees Pam, his love Pam. Never mind. He sees her out. Let's go back again. She rises out of the sea. It's obviously done in reverse. Yep. She's not wet. It's obviously done in reverse. But she's rising out of the sea. You can see feet. What? Yeah. You could barely see his feet that were that small. Anyway, so she's rising out of the sea and he's looking, shocked. And then he remembers back in colour. By the way, his dreams in colour. We saw back in 1959, they were all in black and white. But he's remembering in colour in his dream Pam getting chopped up by the axe murderer. And we see the colour of the car and the red of the blood and all that. And there he is with Pam's hand in his hand. Wearing a courgette. Is it courgette? No, not courgette. That's a bloody cucumber, isn't it? What do they call them? I see what you mean. Yeah, extremely hot chick next to him drew more attention. Well, yeah. There's another scene later on. I think of the commentary. There's a scene later on with some young ladies in the shower, and the director says something about notice all their hair's dry, and the fellow that's with him said they had hair. Anyway, we'll get to that, but I'll have to be quick. Skipping over that because there's nudity. Corsage. It's a corsage. Yes, not the courgette. Oh dear. What an idiot. Anyway, so he's watching that, and then it turns round, and we see that fella again later on. So maybe he's had a bit of a premonition. But anyway, then he wakes up. It's obviously just a dream. He's in his home. Obviously, he's into Raymond Chandler and Hammett and Mike Hammett or whatever. I don't know. He gets a phone call, and this is the first time he says "thrill me." That's his catchphrase, and he's told that somebody stole a body from there's two bodies. That's it. It's told there's two bodies at the university medical wing thing, whatever. This is Sergeant Ramey. That's another one. So heads over there, and we see that there's the young scientist dead, but no sign of Johnny. And, so he comes in. This is Detective Landis. Anyway, Ray comes in and says, "I thought you said there were two bodies," and so there's a bit of confusion there. And says there were two bodies, but they don't know what's happened to the other one. I think they're thinking it's it's got confused in the phone calls that they've had. So they're not sure now how many bodies there were. But he says now, does Ray, does he know what's going on here? Because he says now, a body that's been frozen for 27 years doesn't just get up and walk out. So how does he know that body was frozen for 27 years? Is it written down somewhere in this lab? I don't know, but he seems to know what's going on. That's where he says, a dead body just doesn't walk about, and then we see a dead body walking about. There we go. So that's Johnny heading to, I don't know, Kappa, Delta. What's that letter? I can't really remember. Epsilon. It's not Epsilon, is it? I don't know. Eta. What else is there? Right. Brad's dropping off Cynthia. She doesn't seem very happy with him because he's a knobhead. So there we go. So he drops her off and speeds away. We see Johnny approaching. Remember, this is the same sorority house that Pam at the beginning, Johnny's girlfriend at the beginning in 1959, same sorority house that she were from, and Cynthia's in the same room that Pam had. So we'll find out later in a bit. So right, so she heads up to her room. Oh, we find out as well. Where are we? This young lady here, she's got brains in jars, and she says to Cynthia, she calls her Prez, so she must be the sorority house president or whatever. And she says, "Can I store these in the basement for a project, a school project thing?" And the human brains. So she puts them in the basement, but that's for later. She says, "Okay, as long as I don't have to look at them." So she goes up to her room. Johnny's approaching again, and she's changing. This character's called Karen. Is this supposed to be Chris's ex-girlfriend? I don't know. Or they just given the Karen name to another character? I don't know. But she's here. There's the first jump scare of the film. Is it going to happen now or in a minute? I think it's in a minute. She's reading away, and she hears a noise at the door. Here we go. She hears a noise at the door. That looks really nice in them glasses, don't you? And she opens the door, and it's a cat. It's Gordon the cat. Jumps up at her, the first jump scare of the film. Meanwhile, Johnny's tapping at what's the face's window, or throwing stones at it, whatever. Remember at the beginning we're throwing stones up at Pam's window. But before that, Cynthia's getting her nightie on, so I've got to be quick here. Oh, I just missed it. So we saw her boobies. But apparently that was her idea, the actress's idea, to go, brief nudity. Anyway, so she hears the noise and she looks out of one window, can't see anything. So she goes to the other window. There's Johnny. And he's got a rose in his hand. Yes, oh my, did it make you jump? Made me jump, actually. Made me jump more then than actually watching the film, but never mind. And as we look, he sees forehead open, and then lots of creeps come out. As we see, we don't see what happens to his head. All the slugs go fluttering out. She's obviously called the police, so the police arrive. Ray arrives in his old, I think it's a 40s car. I think they say it's a Merc. So that Mercedes, or is there another car called a Merc? I don't know. But it's an old one. I don't know why he's driving an old car, but he is. He goes in, smells that rose for some reason, which apparently was Tom Atkins' idea. But anyway, and here we go. We find Johnny. Somehow he's got to the front steps now. I mean, he was round by her window, wasn't it? Unless that was unless her window's at the front, I don't know. But he's at the front steps. Is Johnny now with his head like split in half? But anyway, that looks vaguely like Deadite makeup. Well, I suppose so. By the way, the makeup effects were done by a few people, but also I forgot the names now. That will go on to form KNB. Kurtzman, not Alex Kurtzman. Is it Robert Kurtzman? And the other one, Howard Berger. Is that right? But not Greg Nicotero. He's not in it. Anyway. Right. So where were we? Here we go. Oh, I'm going to show the what's left of his head. So there we go. So his head's split open and all the creeps have come out. So that's a grisly scene. So Ray goes round, he checks round the back. He's got a reason for checking round the back. See these two there. I don't know who they are, but he asks Ray. He says, asks, how long has this been here, and what's this? And the young fella says, "Oh, that's the house mother's cottage or whatever they call them." And we get little flashbacks of him digging a hole and putting something in the hole, which we learn later. Spoilers, not much later, that he found the lunatic killing Pam, chopping Pam up, and he killed the lunatic with his shotgun, and then buried his body. Actually, later, because he escaped. That was it. He escaped. He found Pam's body. The lunatic had gone, and he tracked him down and basically murdered him and buried his body. He said in a vacant lot, so which was where the sorority mother's cottage is now. So he's worrying about that now. Right, so what's happening now? So obviously everybody's shell shocked about what's gone on. Presuming it's the next day, Chris and JC coming out of school. And they're confronted by the beaters, whatever. Confronted by them, and they get accused. Brad accuses them of dumping that body in front of Cynthia's sorority. Because they'd sent them to steal a corpse, and they told we told you to put it in front of another POG or something. I don't know, Phi Omega Gamma or whatever. They're supposed to put it in front of that frat house, and he says we didn't do it. We went to the lab place, but we chickened out, so we didn't do it. So the walk off, and he trips up. He trips up JC, as we see here. Do it now. Look, he trips up JC. He's a bad man. And obviously Cynthia doesn't like that. Anyway, he says sorry. Don't really mean it. Anyway, so she gives him the finger. So that's the end of them two, essentially. She goes over to Chris and JC and helps them. And then they get stopped by Detective Landis. This is where we find out his name. Apparently, this I forgot the name of the actor. I'm sorry, but he was in Escape from New York with Tom Atkins, in the same scenes with Tom Atkins as the Liberty Island police station thing, whatever. He was in that as well. Right, so they want to talk to JC and Chris, to the police, because this fella, Mr. Minor. Did I include that name in my list? Yes, I did. Mr. Minor, who's the janitor at where the body was, where Johnny was, is the janitor. He says he saw them running out, screaming like banshees. Anyway, yeah. In these movies, no man with hair that nice is a good guy. No, he's not. And the actor's name is Kaiser, and they keep doing references to like Germany and Aryans and all that. And later on, he's even got like a vest with like a German symbol on, the eagle, that symbol on. So Minor, not Minor. You've lost me. Galaxy Quest. Anyway, so this is Mr. Minor. He saw them screaming like banshees, running away, and they actually tell the truth. They say what they did, and because I think JC tries, yes, Kaiser Soze, yes, and that's it. Doesn't walk like that though. JC starts to lie, but then Chris says, we went in, but we didn't, we didn't take the body or anything like that. You know, it came to life, his eyes opened and all that. And that's why they ran out. And then he's giggling, Mr. Man is giggling, you're screaming like banshees, you know, doing the proper Asian stereotype. But anyway. So that, there he is, accusing them, but they own up, as I said. Tell the truth. And he's screaming like a banshees, giggling away to himself. Anyway, then we cut to the morgue, and there's the scientists that were killed by Johnny, and there's the I think he's supposed to be the coroner, isn't he? Making some notes, and obviously he's not looking, he's not paying any attention. As he, it looks right. I think he hears him snore. We hear like a, and he looks round. Obviously, nothing's happening, and as he turns back, he sits up. Don't hear that. Don't hear him sit up, and you don't hear him get off the gurney or whatever it is, table, and he just walks out. And then this security guard or police officer, I don't know what he is, I'll say police officer, totally doesn't notice him. Look, says, "See you tomorrow." Stupid. So anyway, so there we go. So he's on walkabout. Right, so there's the moon. Right, so Mr. Miner's back doing his janitorial duties. Here we go. He was giggling to himself, going there, screaming like banshees. Then as he goes up to this corner, this chap appears, so he screams. Right, and this is where we see some more. See some more slug-like creeps bombing about. And come on, there we go. Whee! Some of them are on, fishing line sort of thing, and some of them are motorized. Like motorized cars, like pull back and release sort of thing. Some of them are like those, but don't ask me which ones. I've no idea. Make sure we're still going, by the way. Let's make sure we're still going. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Right. So where were we? Where were we? Oh, there's some more there. Look. This one actually is filmed in reverse, apparently. That one actually pulled towards the camera and they just reversed the shot. Right, so here we are at the sorority. I think is that Karen? Is that her that with the cat at the beginning? Is it her without her glasses on? Could be, maybe. It's got a phone call for Cynthia, so Cynthia comes down, and it's Brad. Oh, this is where he's got his German vest on, and she basically breaks up with him here over the phone. There we are. Look, German is it Bundeswehr or something. So it breaks up with him over the phone. So they're done with. There's Karen again, looking nice in her glasses. I don't like a lady with glasses. She hears a noise. She thinks it's Gordon again. So she goes to the door and hang on. It is Gordon. They go, oh, it's Gordon. Look, she turns round and Gordon's being got by the creeps. So anyway, and apparently Gordon had died. I don't know how. It must be a scene that they've cut out. Earlier on, Gordon had died. I think it's mentioned prior to him reappearing there that he'd been buried, somewhere outside, in the flower beds or something. But it didn't say how he died. Maybe he just got by, Johnny or somebody else, one of the other zombies. I don't know. But anyway, so he's back. Anyway, this is Ray is looking over the reports and the photos from Pam's murder back in 1959. I think his phone rings. Yes, he's got to go back and check out the Mr. Mine has been. I think it's Mr. Mine has been found dead, or is it the scientist? Anyway, I think his head's all split open, and I think it shows some creeps going away from him in a minute. There we go. I think it's the scientist. I think, but I think Mr. Mine is shuffling about somewhere. Brad should say, if he dies, he dies. Yeah, he should. In Rocky IV Stylee. Right, Chris and JC are doing well. Chris is trying to do some school work. JC's just listening to music and giving it. I don't know what's he doing? He's kind of giving it all that, and getting on Chris's nerves. Before he can say anything, there's a knock at the door, and oh, by the way, I forgot to mention. I forgot to mention earlier on when they had the confrontation with Brad outside, when Brad accused them of dumping, the body outside Cynthia's sorority. We learned that JC had a like a Walkman, like a portable tape recorder, cassette recorder, and he'd recorded Brad basically not confessing, but saying, we sent you to do that prank sort of thing. And he, in a cut scene, he played that back when they were being interviewed by Ray at the police station. He played that back, and as kind of like evidence. But the recorder comes back into it later on. It's it's a setup and a payoff for later. Anyway, there's a knock at the door, and he goes to the door, and it's Cynthia. So she wants to talk to them. So they all go for a walk. She said, "Can we go for?" He invites her in. He says, "Can we go for a walk?" And I thought it'll just be her and Chris, but no, both of them have gone. JC's with them as well. Being a bit of a gooseberry, innit? But never mind. Yes, it's Chekhov's Walkman. Wingraves. There's a few payoffs in this film, setups and payoffs, and I can't remember most of them. If I remember and we see them, I'll point them out. Anyway, she's talking away and she's saying that she saw, Johnny. She doesn't know he's called Johnny, but she saw the fella that they found at her window, and then all these slugs came out of his head, and they don't believe her. They like scoff. He says, "Well, I thought you'd believe me." Anyway, so we do, and Chris puts his arm around her. Pardon me, she's been all upset. Remember, this is his dream girl. And then there's the looking. Is he going to do it now? He's going to do it now. Look, they're idiots, aren't they? So he thinks he's in with Cynthia now. So JC excuses himself. He says, "Oh, I've just got to go to the little boy's room." So he goes off, leaves Cynthia and Chris alone. So here we are. This is JC's gone into the men's room. They carry on walking, and we see they're being followed by Ray. Right, so we're in the loo now with JC. He's writing on the wall. Humpty Dumpty was pushed. What does that say? I can't read what that says. Fortune 500 favourite house seat. There's one up here says Chris works the bone. But as we see, I can't make it out, but there it says Striper rules. And apparently, that's a reference to the God Rockers Striper, because the one of the makeup artists on this film got married to Michael Sweet, the singer from Striper. I think she was dating him at the time and got married to him later, but she was dating him at the time, so she might have written that on the toilet wall. Striper rules. So there we go. Famous, obviously, for Calling on You, the song Calling on You, and what albums did they bring out? Soldiers Under Command and To Hell with the Devil and stuff like that. See, Joshua knows, saw Striper in concert 3 times. I've never seen them, but I do quite like them. But I can't say I really know a lot of their stuff. But I've not got a Striper album, I don't think. I don't think I have. But I do like them when they pop up on music stations and stuff. I do like their songs. Anyway, so he's doing graffiti, and he hears a noise. Oh, it's Mr. Miner comes back. We see him come round, shuffle round the corner, and he goes into the toilet. And then he hears a noise. There's that toilet paper is installed incorrectly. Yes, it is. It is. He hears a noise, so he looks out, and oh, God's sake, pressing the wrong buttons again. Useless. looks out, sees Mr. Miner's collapsed, and all the creeps are coming out of him. So obviously he's shocked, so he pulls his trousers up. Nobody ever does anything on the toilet in films, do they? Has he had a poo? You know, why ain't he wiping his bottom, for Christ's sake? Or is he just sitting there? Or is he like a woman? Does he have to sit down and go for a wee? Maybe he does because he's disabled, isn't he? So probably does. Can't prop himself up to do a stand-up wee, can he? Anyway, so he gets up, and for some reason there's a matchbook with 2 matches in, and I don't know, are they his? Did he drop them, or they're just there coincidentally? I've no idea, but he picks them up, and got a thing just whizzes by. He tries again, picks it up and lights it, puts it back down. Oh dear, hang on. Sherry Moon Zombie goes wee in Lords of Salem. I wouldn't know. I'm not a big fan of Rob Zombie, to be completely honest. I've not seen. I think the only film I've seen of his was the Halloween one. I've not seen like House of a Thousand Corpses or those ones that he's done. I've heard they're good, but I don't think it's my sort of thing. No, see, this is the big debate now, isn't it? Toilet paper over or under? I'm not telling you what we do. Anyway, so he lights. He must have I don't know, he must guess, maybe, because they look like slugs. So maybe he thinks, heat will keep him away or whatever. He lights the paper off the matchbook, puts it down, and the creep must be attracted to the light or the heat, but the heat destroys it. Anyway, so but then one goes up his trouser leg. Look, goes up his trouser leg, and that's the last thing. He collapses. Oh, and we get another little. There we go. Go Monster Squad. So this is the year before Fred Dekker's Monster Squad came out. So he says in the commentary, he said, "Yeah, well, I was planning that film. I knew this film would be such a success." He says it with his tongue in his cheek. He says, "I knew this film would be such a success that Monster Squad would get made. I was so full of myself." But it's a nice little, a little nod to his next film. But anyway, what does that say there? I can't make it out. Anyway, hang on. Joshua says, I like Rob's music, but generally don't care for his movies. Lords of Salem is very strange, a bit old school, cultist kind of movie, but it's solid. Have yet to watch The Munsters. Yeah, I haven't watched that either. And just says, I love Monster Squad. I say it's all right. It's all right. I don't mind it. I don't go mad over it. It's fine. Anyway, so basically he gets got now. Does JC, which is very sad. We don't know that yet. Right, he's walked Cynthia home as Chris, back to her sorority. And she asks him out to the prom or whatever, She says, will you go to the prom with me? Yes, whatever. But then he's interrupted by Ray. Ray says, oh, you've got yourself a date, and all that. But he wants to talk to Chris, so he takes Chris back to his place. And this is where he tells him all about what he did, how he found Pam and that she'd been hacked to pieces. He said he found her, in the car and on the road and in the woods, and that the lunatic that had killed her wasn't there anymore. But he tracked him down on his own time and shot him to death, and then buried him in the vacant lot around the back of the sorority, which is now where the house mother's cottage is. And he's saying to him, Chris is saying, is this something you should be telling me? You're confessing to a murder. But, he's gone a bit crazy as Ray, to be honest. It goes even crazier later. And he's really telling him. then they tell him about where the sorority the house mother's cottage is. Then she's the house mother. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of Lucille Ball, maybe. I don't know, but whatever. And she's watching Plan 9 from outer space on the old box, with the dog in front. And she starts hearing this knocking, and it's a great film. It's Plan 9 from outer space. She hears this knocking, and dog hears it as well. And there we go. And it's coming from this area, and then the floorboards start breaking up, and as we see, there we go. And it's the lunatic. He's got an axe, so he must have buried him with his axe as well. Maybe it showed it in the flashbacks. I can't remember, but he's got his axe, and he comes up and obviously kills her. But then his phone rings. Does Ray still there? And he's obviously they go rushing to the scene. There they are. Go past Phil's diner. Apparently, I don't know. Apparently, this is a landmark in Los Angeles. But in every, I think in all of his films, all Fred Dekker's films, after this, there's always a reference to Phil's diner. Apparently, I've never noticed it because I didn't know about this until today. But I'll look. I'll put RoboCop 3 on and see if Phil's diner's in, and Monster Squad and all that. I think I've seen this in another film, though. I'm sure I've seen this place. It was supposed to be a landmark, wasn't it? But apparently it's been moved now, and they don't know where it is. But I'm sure I've seen it in other films. Anyway, so they arrive at the sorority mother's house mother's cottage, and they find it's the she's been murdered, and the killer's nowhere to be seen. So they're on the lookout for him. Let's go back again. Where are we? There we go. They're on the look. These cops are on the lookout for him, and he's got his flashlight. Oh, must be in a bit. He's looking. Hang on, and they go straight past him as they're looking. It pulls in. There we go. And there he is. Look, there's the zombie. He notices him, and he hits the brakes. Just as he says, "What you doing? He's going to kill me." And just as he swings the axe, he speeds away, saves his partner's life. Right, so they know where he is, so they're going to go and deal with this zombie now. So there we go. They've got him cornered in this alley, and of the cops, and Ray with his shotgun, and say freeze, and just tells him to turn around, and he turns around, and obviously he's all zombified. So they're just blowing holes in him. Come on, show us his face. There we go. And obviously not killing him. And so Ray finishes him off. I think he does a little smile here as he's looking. There we go. And Ray finishes him off, blows his head off. There we go. And this is where Ray goes proper mental now. It actually, he loses his mind for the rest of the film. Yes, where's TJ Hooker? He'd sort him out, wouldn't he? I always remember, there's only one episode of TJ Hooker I remember. And I only remember one part of it is where I think, I can't remember, I can't remember which it was that were in. The blonde, young blonde lady, not Heather Locklear, it wasn't her, that sort of actress, wasn't it? The other one. She got hurt by somebody, and William Shatner, as TJ stormed out and went, "I'm going to find him and I'm going to bury him," but in William Shatner's voice, "I'm going to find him and I'm going to bury him." That's what I'll remember from TJ Hooker. Anyways, we need beam phasers. Yes, it is. All lightsabers. So anyways, that's the end of the 1959 axe murderer. But you can see the fishing line there. Look, or is it? It could be ooze. Anyway, they're all going away. Look, there we go. They're all watching, thinking, "What's going on here?" And he's gone mental now as Ray. Anyway, next day at Lambeth Hall, it says there, Lambeth Hall. Actually, I looked it. I thought, is there a director called Lambeth? And I couldn't find anything. But luckily, I watched it with the director's commentary, and Lambeth is named after Fred Dekker's college roommate. So there we go. Anyway, I never realised Vic Fontaine was in T.J. Hooker. What? Oh, I can't remember the name of the bloody actor now. He was in Time Tunnel, wasn't he? I can't remember the name of the actor. I've got his CD. I've got it now. I bought it for my mum for Christmas one year because she likes like crooners and stuff like that, and it was, that sort of. He brought a CD out as Vic Fontaine did, the actor whose name I can't remember, and I bought it for my mum and she right liked it, but I've got it now because my mum's passed away. So anyway, and there were Admiral Paris in it as well. Oh, well, I said they all do it. Yes, it was a slime trail. It wasn't fishing line. A reverse slime trail. It must have come this way and then gone running back right quick, or slithering back. Anyway, whatever. Right. So Chris has got his tux. Look, he's got his tux. He's ready for his big date with Cynthia. James Darren, that's the fella. James Darren. He's a good singer. Anyway, he's got his tux, and he asks these two. They come out. This is actually Fred Dekker's brother. I've done that again. Look, pressing the wrong buttons. There we go. He asks them, have they seen JC? He never came home last night. So they said, no, we haven't seen him. Last time we saw him, it was with you and the hot chick. It says Fred Dekker's brother. Don't know who he is. So there we go. All right, we're at the sorority house now, and we see like, getting up to their sorority hijinks, and we see the frat houses getting up to all their frat house hijinks. I'm going to have to be quick here now. But there we go. We got past it. Fair enough. Girls in the shower. And we also saw. Never mind. In the frat houses, we see them, hijinks in there with shampoo and toothpaste and all, having fun and all that. But look, the creeps are coming. They're all getting ready for the prom or whatever it is. So is Chris, and then he looks round and he notices. Too far. He looks round and he notices the cassette recorder player thing when he's ready, and it says "play me" or "listen," whatever. It says "listen" there, so he listens to it, and we hear JC's voice, but it's kind of gravelly and distorted, and he's saying he's being got by the creatures. They don't call them creeps. They do actually earlier on. He says, "This place gives me the creeps." So that's like a reference. And also earlier on, Tom Atkins says, "This isn't a B movie," and obviously it is. It's self-referential. Anyway, so he plays the tape, and it's JC saying that he's being got, and he thinks he's dead, and he says they're getting through your mouth, and so obviously the one on the floor, when they were on the floor and he fell over in the bathroom, there must have been one heading towards him and it went in his mouth. Because I was watching it, I was thinking, but it went up his trouser leg. We saw him go up his trouser leg, didn't we? I thought that would have gone in through his mouth. But anyway. As he's sitting listening to this, in the director's commentary, Fred Dekker was saying, Jason Lively's, a fine young actor and all that, but he does need direction sometimes, and he needs to be reminded when he's to be serious. And if you look there, there's a photo there between the blue cup and the red book of dead bodies. He put photos of war atrocities and around, and like harrowing images. And every now and again, he'd say to Jason, he said, look at that picture, look at that picture. So you see him looking in different places as he's listening to JC's voice on the cassette player, which obviously on the set, that's probably not playing, is it? Because you'd hear Fred Dekker giving him directions. But it's telling him to look at these, horrific images for him to get a, reaction, so he's not goofing off, basically. So that's what he's doing. Anyway, so JC's saying he thinks he's dead, but he's realised that the creeps can be killed with fire and heat. So he's gone down to the basement, to the boiler room. That's it. He's gone down to the boiler room where the furnace is, and to deal with that. And he says, I walked without his crutches, but he thinks he's dead. He says, I haven't got a pulse or a heartbeat. I think I'm dead. So he gets all upset, does Chris. Then he goes running down to the boiler room. By the way, there's a few Bulldogs references in this, and apparently that's Fred Dekker's college team or something. I don't know. So he goes down to the boiler room. There we are, boiler room. Couldn't it be bothered putting 2 O's in? Whoever wrote that. Never mind. He goes down and he finds JC's body. There we go. Finds JC's body with the sizzling creeps around it. And so JC's no more. Very sad, because he was a cool character. But he's no more. Sacrificed himself to save, the day, sort of. Anyway, so what happens next? Oh, this is all the baddies, the beaters. They're heading out on a bus to go to the prom. Apparently, one of these, don't ask me which one, either him or him, is in General Hospital. Don't ask me which one. I have no idea. But they said that in the commentary, but I didn't know which one they were talking about. Brad's not happy, because remember, he's broken up with Cynthia, so he's not happy. He's drinking. He's not ready for the prom. He calls her a name. But then he comes across the house mother's dog. Here he goes. House mother's dog comes up. I think he saw a creep go scuttling by. But then the house mother's dog comes up. Hang on. And he turns to look at it. And then we see a fake dog. And it fires a creep into his mouth. So Brad's being got by the creeps. Interesting that JC managed to hold off the monsters in his head until he was at the furnace. Yes, he was a single-minded young man. Yes. I mean, all the others seemed to succumb immediately, but he was, strong enough to keep them at bay, wasn't he, until he could get down there. But never, Don't think too much about it, Joshua. Anyway, so they're going on the bus. The rest of... it says there, doesn't it? I can't bloody read it. Beta... or whatever. So they're setting off to the prom on the bus. Right. Remember how I said he'd gone crazy? Well, he's lying here in his apartment, whatever it is, with his lighter. He's got his Zippo lighter there. He's lying there listening to... it could be smoke gets in your eyes. I think we do hear that again in this part, but I can't remember. But listening to some music. But then there's a knock at the door, and he tries to ignore it. He goes to the door, hang on, and then as we see, he's got all tape around the door. I'm thinking, what's he got tape around the door for? He rips it all off to open it. And Chris is there saying they've got JC. He doesn't say that. He says they've got alfalfa, because he used to call Tom Atkins used to call JC alfalfa, and him one of the others. I can't remember. So they've got alfalfa, so it says, heat kills them. So we've got to go and, sort it all out. So with a renewed sense of purpose, hang on, Wingrace says, hang on. If you bury someone infected with creep in a pet cemetery, which one wins? I don't know, but watch till the end. It's not a pet cemetery, but anyway, the renewed sense of purpose, Ray gets his gun, puts his trench coat on, and there we go. Turns off the gas and closes his oven. He was obviously going to kill himself, wasn't he? He was obviously going to let his apartment fill up with gas, flick his lighter. That's why he had tape around the door. I presume he had all the windows shut as well. and turn on his light and blow himself to smithereens. So that's what obviously we're going to do. But he decided not to do that now. But anyway. Right, so they're on the bus. Apparently, this is the film's actual transport boss. You know, the head of transport. He does a Mad Max thing in a minute. Anyway, he sees the dog in the middle of the road. See if I'm too far. Sees the dog in the middle of the road. There we are, with its zombie face, and obviously avoids it. And oh, there we go. That was it. That was the Mad Max bit with his big big googly. So that happens in Mad Max, doesn't it, with the baddie at the end? But the bus crashes. Anyway, that's the tiniest little adorable oven to end yourself in. Well, yeah. Right, so where are these going now? I can't remember. Oh, yes, they're going down to meet Dick Miller. Joe Dante's stalwart actor, isn't he? Dick Miller's been in everything. And he says he wants a flamethrower. Dick Miller said, "What?" Because he's obviously, you know, at the armory, isn't he, at the police station. So he goes and gets a flamethrower. They're all laughing about it. So he gets a flamethrower and he says, "But, you know, do you have the requisition form?" And he says, "Well, the thing is, I haven't got one." And he pulls his shotgun on Dick Miller. And so obviously they've got the flamethrower because he doesn't care anymore. There's Ray. Right, here we see the bus is overturned. Those tyres are not very good, are they? We see everybody's dead on the bus, and then the dog goes over to the bus, hops inside, obviously releases creeps, and they all become zombies in the bus in a bit. This stunning young lady, can't remember her name, but she's in Return of the Living Dead Part 2, apparently. But she goes to the door, and there we see Brad, all zombified. She says, "Cynthia, Brad's here." Nobody pays any attention, do they? Right, back at the bus, all the zombies are coming out. There they are. There they are, all coming out. And apparently this fella here is an actual amputee, but we saw him earlier on, walking about, apparently. But he did, he's actually got a fake leg, you know, prosthetic leg. And so for this bit, they took his prosthetic leg off and made out his leg had come off in the crash. So there we go. Right, so we've got zombies walking about now. Cynthia comes down, ready for her big date with Chris. He may be a zombie, but his hair is on point. Well, yeah, because it's Brad, isn't it? He's Albert Wesker, isn't he, basically? There he is, look. And she's not looking, nobody's paying any attention, are they? Nobody's, look, they're all dopey. But she doesn't look at him, she just grabs him by his hand and they go and sit down. She's saying, "No, I'm sorry," and all that, but I think we just got to, you know, have some time apart. And, you know, I didn't mean to upset you. And then she looks round at him and is releasing creeps out of his mouth. There we go, like that. And she's not paying attention to him. But then Chris and Ray appear as he's got like a creep half hanging out of his mouth. He says, "Get out of the way!" And then Ray shoots him. I'm going to show it. Is it going to show it? No, in a minute. There you go. Ray shoots him, and then his head opens up. All the creeps start coming out, and there we go. And Chris flamethrowers him. There we go, and that kills the creeps. So that's Brad's scene too, and those creeps. Ray goes into the sorority and tells them to phone the police. Chris gives her the shotgun and says, "Here, hold this. It'll make you feel better." And so she does, but she's like freaking out. Oh, this is the bit where he says, that's in the trailer, "Hey, girls, good news, your dates are here. Bad news, they're dead." Because all the... is it going to show it? They're dead here. All the zombies are arriving. So fun and games is happening now as Cynthia shoots them and Chris flamethrowers them. Oh, and he tells... back inside, Ray tells Karen to go and lock the door, but obviously the zombies come through the the window, and he shoots him in his head, and creeps start coming out. So he uses that, grabs a hairspray and does the old hairspray flamethrower trick. So they're running out, seeing all this carnage out front. Zombies are still coming in though. I don't know where the others have gone that were in the room, but it seems like it's just Ray and Karen now. But as you can see, Karen's not looking at us, so you can guess what's happened to her, can't you? As he's picking up bullets off the floor. He must have dropped them. He must have dropped bullets on the floor or something. He's picking them up and putting them in his gun. And as we see, Karen's become a zombie as well. So the creep's got her. So he wrestles her to the ground. Has dropped his gun. Then he looks up and sees Pam, his love, Pam, and obviously stirs him to fight even harder. So he shoots Karen, poor Karen. Meanwhile, they're running out of bullets and ammo, so they run away. They run round the back. They're hiding in this little flimsy shed. Oh, yeah. And he hits the padlock here with the butt of the gun. There we go. Just breaks like that. You ever tried smashing a padlock? It's really, really hard. I once tried it. I couldn't get into my shed. I think it had rusted up a little bit, and my key wouldn't go in. So I think I tried, the miracle spray stuff, and I couldn't undo the lock, and so I thought, oh, I'll just smash it off with a hammer. No chance. But he just one thing to that. It smashes the padlock. Maybe British padlocks are better than American ones. I don't know. Karen looks more like Linda Blair there. Maybe a little bit, yeah. If she had the gerbil cheeks. Anyway, so they're hiding in this shed, and obviously the zombies just smash through. There we go. But they deal with them as best they can. But they grab Cynthia and pull her out. So Chris gets the lawnmower that we just saw there, and Cynthia gets away from. Cynthia gets away from that fella, pushes him down, and as he's getting up, Chris gets him with the lawnmower, Peter Jackson style. There we go. Doesn't linger on it. Right, so Ray has Ray's dealt with them. I missed a bit earlier on. See if I can get to it. We'll go past this bit. For a bit with Ray where they put him on the dolly. It actually looks really silly, but never mind. Come on, where are you? Here we go. Right, so he shoots Karen. Then there we go. Then they put him on the dolly and just spinning him round the room as he shoots. Anyway, and he said it's Miller time or something like that, didn't he? He said that earlier on. I don't know. I can't remember what his line was. You mean with the lawnmower? I can't remember. Well, we'll see. Yeah, I think. Have I got it muted? Yes, I'll unmute it. Oh, we haven't got there yet. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what his line is. Here we go. Start your thing.
Later, dude.
Later, dude. Is that the best I could come up with? No lawnmower type quip. You thought there'd be one, wouldn't you? Anyway, so Ray's dealt with all the zombies and creeps in that room. What else is happening? They have to go. Oh, they see all the creeps heading down into the basement, to the cellar, and Chris says, "What's down there?" And then she remembers there's all those brains down there. So they tell everybody to get out of the house. So all the rest of them go that are in there. They go down to the basement, and we see Ray got his mouth taped up, so the creeps can't get him, and he's got a can of gasoline. There we go. It says on nice big red letters, gasoline. And we see that the creeps are all around. I'm presuming they're in like a corner, but I presume they're over the bottles of brains. I presume that's where they are, the jars of brains. And we see the creeps moving about. Well, that he captures one, says, "Not this time, you creep," or whatever. He's going to show it. He's going to show the creeps in the corner. There we go, spreading the. It's not going to bloody show it, is it? Throwing the gasoline about. He tells them to get out, and he actually turned on a gas pipe as well. So what he was going to do in his own apartment is actually doing now in this sorority house basement. So he tells him to go, and gives him. I think he gives Chris a wink because Chris has got the girl, which he never did he? Back in 1959. 18. Counting as well. Go on, bloody hell. There's a bit of stop motion, and I don't want to miss it. There we go. That's what I'm waiting for. All the creeps are gathered in the corner of the room for some reason. Maybe I'm guessing all those jars of brains are there, and it's just attracted them. So they're all gathered there. There's a bit of stop motion on them where they're jiggling about. There you go. So that's done in stop motion. Obviously, this is before seatbelt, before realistic CG. But that's stop motion, and he's gonna light his lighter now.
Detective, thrill me.
There we go. And he says, "Thrill me." Oh, there we go. So that's the end of the creeps, or is it? It's a bit slitherish, says Joshua. Yeah, I can't remember. You mean the James Gunn slither? It's a while since I've seen that. It's also a bit. I can't remember that. There's that David Cronenberg one, isn't there? Set in the apartment block. What's that one called? That Squirm or something like that. Or, it's got a similar sort of name, hasn't it? That had like slug-like creatures, didn't it? So there we go. So that's the end of those, and we see the rose because he sniffed it earlier on. I presume it's the same one. Probably not. This is the original ending of the film, by the way. If you saw it on VHS or in theaters, in the theatrical cut, VHS and Laserdisc, it ends here. The kiss, and it ends. But when it came to release it on, on DVD, in the 2000s, Sony said they were going to release it on DVD, and Fred Dekker says, "Cool, can they do my original ending?" Because he had an original ending he did that the original distributors basically told him to take off because they wanted it to end with a happy ending, but his was not quite as happy. There are actually two endings. There were a sad ending where it ended where the dog reappears and fires a creep at Cynthia. So Cynthia gets got, and so that's how it ends, which they didn't bother with anyway. But then there's this ending now. There we go, where we see. I think this is supposed to be Ray. I think all burnt. I don't know how he's got out of the sorority house, but I'm presuming it's him. He just staggers out. I'm guessing it's Ray. It could be Donald Pleasance for all I know, but at the end of Halloween 2. But I'm guessing it's Ray. Dawn of the Creeps coming in 2025 with them grown up fending off a new batch. Obviously needs the good ending, yeah. Anyway, so where were we? He comes out smoking a cigarette and then drops down, and all the creeps come out of his head. And then the head, there we go, into the cemetery. There we go, Crest Ridge Cemetery. They're heading there, and as we're watching, see a light appear on one of the gravestones. There we go. A light appears on one of the gravestones, then goes out again, and then we see the spaceship from the beginning of the film. They've arrived after 27 years. Don't know what took them so long. They arrive, and it's shining lights around the cemetery. So obviously setting it up, as though that it could carry on if the creeps had got into the dead bodies in the cemetery. It'll all start again. But that's how it ends. So anyway, yes, Ash versus the creeps. That'd be a good one, wouldn't it? There shouldn't be brains in the corpses. Well, no, there shouldn't be, should there? Maybe in the new ones, because I presume there'll be some new corpses in there, won't there? People are always dying, aren't there? So there'll be some fresh ones in there, won't there, somewhere? Anyway, so that's the end of the film. I say it's a lot of fun. It's a good film. Give it a go. Give it a go. There's a lot of little things to check in the background, as I said, with the writing on the toilet walls and stuff. Nice little nods or jokes. And it's worth watching. It's a good film. It's a good film. Like I say, you can get it on Blu-ray like I did. I got it on Blu-ray. Hang on. There we go. I got it on Blu-ray, and it's a lot of good. There's some got a couple of commentaries on, and then a decent documentary about the making of. Some good special features on. So it's worth getting. Right. So that's it for Night of the Creeps. Thanks, Josh. Josh. Oh, God, I can't talk. Let me have a drink. Oh dear. Right, so thanks Joshua and Win Grace joining in. Joshua says, I think my daughter will like this one. I think you'll like. Well, I'm sure you've seen it before. I think everybody bar me has seen this film before. I mean, I had seen it before. I just couldn't remember if I liked it. But anyway, yes, you have a great weekend as well, Joshua. And you Win Grace and tell Archmage Frey to have a great weekend as well. I'm sorry about Twitch this week. Never mind. But yes, it's a good film. It's a good film. But apparently there's a TV cut that had extra scenes that are not in this. So I've not seen the TV version. So if you've seen that, I bet Windgrace has got it on tape somewhere because there's always taping things. Anyway. Right, so we'll leave it there. So let me get rid of that. Right, so as I said, thanks for watching. I'm back next on what day is it today? It's Friday, isn't it? Point with Fear. So I'm back on Sunday with my news thing. And next Monday, for Magnificent Monday, it's the original King Kong. Yay! It's that one. So I love that film. That is my favourite film of all time. I was going to do it first, but I thought, no, I'll ease us into it. Oh, look, Archmage Fraser here. The mystery man from Twitch, but not tonight. So have a good weekend, Archmage Frey. My lone Patreon. See, they can't be the same person, Win Grace and Archmage Frey, because they're in the same room at the same time. There we go. Right, so I'll get off now. So hang on. Right, so thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time. Oh, I don't have nightmares. You won't have nightmares after Night of the Creeps. It's more fun than scary, isn't it? There's not much fear in Night of the Creeps. But anyway, don't have nightmares. And look, wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.